the award-winning California sportsman.
Hi, I'm Garry Erck, and welcome to the Blind Squirrel channel. It's Saturday, August 9th, and I'm live in the studio with the man himself, Sep Hendrickson, with the California Sportsman Radio Show. And today we're not fishing, we're talking about fishing. So I'm going to bring you something a little different. I'm going to bring you a behind-the-scenes look as Sep talks to the best guides in Northern California, live on the water, from the ocean, from the delta, from the bay, from the rivers, from the reservoirs, and from the lakes. So we're feeling good. Wish us luck. Let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to California Sportsman. It's Saturday, August 9th, and it's going to be hot outside today, and I hope you've got some plans to be outdoors, especially early in the morning when the temperatures are right, especially if you're going fishing. There are some wonderful opportunities out there, but we're going to take you live right now back to a big major league fishing event. We're going to hook up with the man himself from Ultimate Bass Radio, Mr. Kent Brown, and let him tell you about what's been going on all week back there. Good morning, Brown. It's not good not having you here, but I've got a room full of guys filling in for you.
Well, and from what I understand of who you have in there, they are all completely underqualified.
And they truly are. They're all kokanee fishermen. You know, we just go out and catch bait because bass fishermen are bulletproof. You know, in the studio the whole time while we're standing around here or sitting around here talking has been some of the, well, I was going to say some of the best kokanee anglers in the room, but I'm here, so I can't say that because I know I'm not the best. And I know Blind Squirrel and I both go looking hard for them, but Kyle Wise is in the studio. Garry Erck, the president of California Inland Fisheries, and the Blind Squirrel, Derek Tate, all here, and we're going to talk kokanee for a couple of minutes. I want to talk about some sleeper kokanee places that nobody's talking about. One of the guys has been up to one of them that used to have a lot bigger kokanee, but we'll talk about that. You know Whiskey Town. Nobody's fishing it. Really? Nobody's calling. Nobody's sending photos. I know what that means to me. They're catching big fish at Whiskey Town, folks. They don't talk about it. So there's a great opportunity for you. Garry Erck, president of CIFFI, sent me a photo of a 17-inch. He called it 16. I looked it close. I zoomed in. That thing is 16 and 7/8 at least. That's a 20-pounder in my book. So there's fish available at Lake Pardee, which you wouldn't think would really be available out there. There's fish all over. You know where else you don't hear about anybody talking about it? What happened to the kokanee at Boca? I understand they've shrunk. They're a whole lot smaller. Everybody's complaining about Stampede. Garry, tell them why the fish are smaller at Stampede than they used to be.
The world would really like to know, but the bottom line is it is a prolific fishery from a natural spawn, and the Department of Fish and Wildlife plant a ton of fish in there to ensure that we have a base for extracting eggs every fall.
Easily accessible, too.
There's just not a lot of places that they can do it, and they've got cost and other things that impact decisions, but Stampede is just, it gets nailed from that, and it's not great for the lake, it's not great for the experience, but if we want kokanee at every other lake right now, that's the only math for us.
Well, kokanee are spread out over a multitude of lakes right now. They've got full plants this year. There was no problem. There was some problems with the inland king salmon plants. There were only 3 lakes done this year, but we do have the great info on the kokanee. They're already out. We got those fish are in place in the lakes already, and I got to tell you, there's places that you don't think about kokanee fishing. And Garry was recently at one, spent his family vacation there. He does it almost every year. Bucks Lake. Tell them about Bucks Lake kokanee.
Bucks Lake is a true success story on this. It's a naturally spawned lake. No plants go in there at all. We started in 2003 catching 8-inchers. We're shortest attention span family, so it really worked for us. And working over time, you can't adjust the spawn, but they've increased the take to 10 a day. And right now, in the last 5 years, the fishery there has really produced solid 13 to 15-inch fish every year. And with the 10 fish limit per guy, there's great creels coming out of that lake, and it's at this point it's sustainable. It's a great destination.
30 or 40 years ago, it was one of our sources for egg collection. We went up to Bucks Lake and did takes up there, ran across brown trout in a 18-inch stream. There was all kinds of big fish around that lake. Are you catching any related species while you're up there?
Caught an 18.5-inch rainbow. Fewer rainbow this year than I have in the past, but truly I'm only targeting kokanee, and I get the occasional mac bycatch too. But this year the numbers were a little bit less on those fish.
A lake traditionally with a lot of big fish, traditionally with a lot of small fish, getting bigger. Stampede's got smaller. These guys are getting bigger as a result.
Stampede had a huge die-off of Mackinac about a few years ago, if you recall, near the dam. It was kind of a big thing.
Less predators.
Less predators, and that could be driving the smaller size too. It's just the apex predators haven't grown up to a point where they can impact that kokanee fishery.
Well, Bucks Lake is one of the sleepers that are out there. Another one that used to put out a lot of big kokanee right off Loch Laven Lodge, or whatever it's called, over by the White Barrier, is Donner Lake. And my friend here that likes to fish in Lightning, the blind squirrel, Derek Atade, has fished there lately. Those are little dinky fish you were getting at Stampede. Those are pretty dinky fish you're getting at Donner, too.
Yeah, if you want to take a nap kokanee fishing, head out to Donner. And same for Lake Tahoe. It's been real slow for me at Donner and Lake Tahoe. And I would say Lake Tahoe, head south towards Camp Richardson. There's some creek inlets down there. That's probably going to be your best bet. But Donner, it's just been slow all around. I fished it in the summer, and just the kokanee bite has not lit up over there. And so I did head over to Stampede a couple weeks ago.
We used to get 16 to 18-inch cokes at Donner.
I love that lake. I mean, the scenery, and it's just a great lake to be on. But it's just slow. So I head over to Stampede, and even a blind squirrel could find a kokanee at Stampede,
and he did.
They're small, but it's even the little ones are fun to play with, and it's easy pickings.
If you haven't seen this video, there's a great picture. It was that Donner Lake that had the lightning and everything else. Yeah. You might want to check out Hail No.
Yeah, hell no. Yeah, that's Sierra Nevada fishing. When you see those dark clouds coming, you better start putting your gear up and making a plan.
Major league hailstorm. Yeah. They look like they were hurting if they hit you.
Yeah, they come in. Those storms come in the afternoon. That's the pattern, and you gotta. The wind will pick up, and the lake feeds energy into the storm, and you just gotta pack up and go.
Bring up Dave Hurley now too. Let's bring him on in, Dave. We're all sitting here talking kokanee, and I just looked up and I thought we should bring Mr. Hurley, the editor of Western Outdoor News, into this conversation. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning. You got two of the best in there, Kyle and Garry Erck, and I know Blind Squirrel wants to join that group too.
Oh, he's working at it, man. There's no question about it. Well, let's check real quick with Kyle. Kyle, other than New Maloney's, where would you be fishing kokanee? What are you hearing?
Well, there's a couple sleeper lakes that nobody talks about in our neck of the woods, and that would be Pinecrest.
Oh, I got them up there, 6 inches long, baby. They're like that.
If you just want to go out and have a fun day of catching fish,
nonstop,
you have Pinecrest, and the other sleeper would be Cherry Lake.
Naturally spawning populations of kokanee salmon. I caught one up there about 25 years ago at an outdoor riders thing. It was 6 inches long. I go, what the heck is this? I seem to have a much better idea of what's going on now. So that's some sleeper lakes. Dave, what kind of kokanee lakes are you hearing about, or you'd like to find?
I was glad to hear Garry talk about Bucks Lake. I don't know if the people at Bucks Lake are happy to hear about it, but I was going to write an article on it this week because, when Big Daddy goes over to Bucks Lake, the fishing is good. I've heard Union Valley has been a sleeper this year, too.
That's one that we've been talking about, and Garry has some good info on that. But go ahead, continue, then Garry will jump in.
I want to hear from Garry because Union Valley, he's got more direct. I know he's more directly involved in that. Even though it wasn't planted in 2023, I hear it's still happening pretty good.
I've heard there's folks that have caught a few nice ones, but this is the dead year because of 2023 zero plant. So it's a tough one.
Alan Fong heard their same stories up there, and Alan raced up there and did not produce either.
Yeah, if Alan didn't do it, I'd write it off for this year. But there's other well-known anglers that have had moderate success with a handful of days going up there. But I'd redirect efforts at other lakes. It's at this point, it's not worth the juice ain't worth the squeeze on that one.
What else you got for us, Dave?
Shaver's kind of been in the same boat too. I mean, they have caught a few of those 16, 17-inch, but they're very few. And they got that derby coming up here. I think it's on the 7th of September.
I'm frantically looking for that date right now.
Yeah, and I think it's coming up, and it's going to be a struggle. I mean, the fishing actually slowed down there, which is really interesting. Just like Kyle experienced a slowdown at Maloney's there for a period of time, Shaver's been in the same thing where the fish are starting to transition a little bit. And they're dropping the water a little bit, but not tremendous amount there. Bass Lake, for the first time, actually had a couple kokanee. You know, they dumped 50,000 kokanee in there the last several years, and there's been nothing happening since that dam.
Since that damn dam was fixed.
Exactly, you got that right, yeah. But they actually caught a couple this year, so that's maybe it's going to take some time. That used to be some big coke. There used to be some really large kokanee in that lake.
Daryl Lamonica and I fished Shaver Lake, and we got, there were 22-inch kokanees available back in the day, 20, 25 years ago. They were very early season. You'd go in there and you'd catch 8 to 14-inch mature kokanee, but every now and then you'd catch a 20 or a 22 out of that lake, which was shocking, to be honest with you, especially a lake that small.
Gary, I'm glad you gave us that explanation on Stampede. That makes a whole lot of sense because you could see the impact it has when we don't have enough eggs to plant. Obviously Union Valley and Shaver really suffered this year. So, I mean, it sounds like Stampede is the sacrificial lake to make sure that everyone else has kokanee. And it's just part of the process. But that was a great explanation. That makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you.
With more and more people realizing there's so many different lakes that you can go to for these, a lot more than are actually publicized or even stocked, as you've been hearing right here. There's lots of other opportunities where these fish were put into the lakes and it didn't work out. I'm trying to think of the one, the Salt Springs Reservoir. They were put in out there. I don't even know if that's warm water or cold water fishery, to be honest with you.
Indian Valley got a plant this year. They haven't had one in 15 years, so 2 years from now.
Oh, you shouldn't have mentioned that.
Take that rough road
I was
there.
on
It could be worth the trip. That
I
might
was
be worth the
looking at it
squeeze.
yesterday on the map. I zoomed in on everything. The lake looks like it's pretty full again.
Rich Tipton used to camp out there all summer long.
He lived there all summer long. But the facilities, I got to say, the facilities suck out there. The water district that handles it, and I'm not sure if I think it's Yuba. The facilities for recreation have a lot to be desired unless they've been drastically improved lately.
But those 18-inch kokanee made that drive worth it, though, don't you think, Seth?
Oh, 18-inch. We caught 4-pound kokanee at Indian Valley Reservoir. We've caught 4-pound and 4.25-pound kokanee at Berryessa. There are monster fish out there, and we could talk about this for another 2 hours, but they just whispered that we got 30 more seconds left in here. So before we do that, Dave, real quick, tell them how they can get a subscription to Western Outdoor News.
Real simple, WONEWS.com. Just go on there, check it out, digital or print.
Thank you, Dave. Dave Hurley. I want to thank Garry Erck. I want to thank Kyle Wise, and I want to thank Derek Atay, the Blind Squirrel, and I want to thank Marilyn and everybody having anything to do with California sportsmen, especially you listeners. Till next week, this is Sep. Tight lines, everybody.
We're out of here.
You know, one lake we should have talked about will probably piss off a lot of people. McClure is on fire.
Well, you should have said it.
I
I was going to tell them Don Pedro, but we're running out of time.
It just dawned on my head that
Kokanee or Kings?
they're catching 16-inch kokanee out of McClure. I forgot all about it. Then when he said 30 seconds, it popped in my head.
He and I are
He
pretty
threw his
good friends.
fishing
He passed
that
away
good
recently.
this year
About a year
for
ago.
kokanee, for some reason.
Yeah. He was over the
As
house
you know,
today.
lakes do cycles,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, they do. That's
He
just
goes,
like
hey,
McClure.
I'm coming
6
back from
years
wherever.
ago,
I'll stop by and talk with you. I said, oh, okay, cool. I went straight down and bought
This
8
year they're a
NFL
little
footballs.
small. Yeah, but for
Oh,
McClure,
sweet.
they have 16-inch
Yeah,
fish.
sign them all.
It's
Awesome.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
We used them as prizes for
It's just one of those lakes.
non-profit